Hello and welcome to Mindset Mondays with DTK. This is episode number 133, 132 in an ongoing series of live broadcasts designed for folk with a growth mindset or folk who'd like to create one. More importantly, it's designed for people with a focus on getting better at doing what they do rather than being distracted by merely getting better at doing what they do. It's about focusing on who you are at your core. So, good morning, good afternoon, or if you're on the Pacific Rim, good evening. Um, it's interesting. I heard an interview with Katy Perry last week. Evidently, she's got a new album out, and the interview was really interesting. She spoke about, as she said, falling from the pantheon of pop stardom, and it was about feeling like she didn't belong, feeling kind of like she had snuck in. It was fascinating. She's talking about being humbled by not having her album accepted the way her previous work had been. And I was struck by, somebody who's playing at the top of her game, being struck by the almost inevitable imposter syndrome. I was on a coaching call last week. It's a senior executive in a Fortune 10 company. And it was fascinating. He was beating himself up for being upset at what was going wrong or going sideways in his world. I mean, look, to be fair, there's upheaval in his personal community and upheaval for him personally, the impact of the global pandemic, the political upheaval. There are tectonic shifts going on in his organization, the very one that he helps lead. And so it's perfectly reasonable to have incredibly strong feelings about it. I'd be shocked if he didn't. But beating yourself up for feeling, that's the kind of self-abuse that can be the most emotionally and spiritually crushing. And this leader was worried about the ripple effect on those around him, the people that he led. And this is really what came up for me. The quote was, "Be kinder to yourself and then let your kindness flood the world." Let your kindness flood the world. It seems like such a simple idea. Be kinder to yourself and then let your kindness flood the world. Look, for this guy, the first step was to acknowledge that his inner 5-year-old needed to be pissed, needed to stomp his feet and be crushed that the world wasn't turning out the way he planned. He had to be kind to that beautiful little human being that he was. And more importantly, he needed to hear him out, that little boy. Because here's the thing, with that part of him heard and held, then this powerful leader, this amazing man could turn his full attention to what was important. Sure, that tectonic shifts can be unsettling, but those massive shifts reveal new ground upon which creation is possible. And it's time for him to create. It's time for all of us to create. The people we serve, the people we lead are counting on us to be creative here. So what I love about the call is he left reconnected to his confidence and refocused on serving the people that he leads. Those men and women will experience the powerful leader he became and the kind of kind-hearted human he's always been. So if you shifted your energy and you started being kind to you first, what would change in your world? Thanks, Robin. I think, Robin, that's so beautifully simple. Kindness is easy and its impact is huge. It's fascinating. I want to think that kindness is simple, and I realize how much easier it is for me to be kind to other people than it is for me to be kind to myself. And I think that's the switch here, is being able to turn that lens of kindness inward. John Lazar said, kindness and listening and acceptance seem to be intimately connected or interconnected. The Yeah, John, thank you. That idea of acceptance almost as a precursor to listening and kindness. I look at this conversation as part of the idea of selfish in service of. I think selfish, the word itself gets a really bad rap. Selfish just means attentive, aware of and attentive to self. Self-centered is different, where you're attentive to self or caring of self to the exclusion or the detriment of others. That's a different animal. And then narcissism is farther along the spectrum, where it's attention to self because what do you mean they're other people? So, so selfish is a good thing. Self-centered is not, and narcissistic is destructive. Selfish in service of is right. David, thanks for catching that. The people we serve are counting on us to be creative here. And that requires hearing ourselves out and listening to ourselves, being accepting of ourselves, frankly, being kind to ourselves so we can be there for others. Taking a moment on a daily basis to be empathetic towards oneself, to be attentive to the needs of oneself, to be caring for oneself. There is so much power in that. Just feeding ourselves and giving ourselves what we need. Be kinder to yourself and then let your kindness flood the world. Mary Virginia says, kindness most definitely isn't always easy. I have, however, found it more relaxing and less draining than the alternatives. Oh my God, yes, it is so much easier to be kind to oneself than to continue that self-abuse and self-flogging that many of us seem to be very accomplished at. uh, yeah, that's a powerful piece. It becomes really practical when you say it that way, Mary Virginia, that it certainly beats the alternatives. The energy necessary to open up a container for kindness for self takes a lot less energy than withstanding the energy expended by flogging oneself. So that's the opportunity as we scream through this last day of August. This is the last day of August. We've got 4 months of the year left. And this is an opportunity to shift to an awareness of self and what we need. That opportunity for kindness for ourselves so that we can allow our kindness to flood the world. Because as things shift over the next 4 months, wherever you are on this globe, there is so much opportunity to create shift. And the people that we serve, the people that we lead, and all of us are leaders, whether we're leading in our own lives, leading in our family, our community, teams, organizations, you name it. We are all leaders. So the people that we serve, starting with ourselves, are counting on us to create and to be creative, to move ourselves through the social and cultural and political upheaval that's happening right now. And I realize that just the language and my energy around it may not match because I don't see this as a negative. What's happening in our world right now is the opportunity. There is a gift in what's going on to create something new, something better, something that serves our future. Marshall Goldsmith's brilliant book, the title is got you here won't get you there. So what got us to this point will not get us to the next point culturally and socially. So that's exactly what this upheaval is all about. It's the it's the labor pains for what's coming and what's being born, the shifts in our culture that are needed. And that's not unique to this country, to the United States. So this is an invitation, an opportunity for all of us to be kind to ourselves so we can let our kindness flood the world. Be kinder to yourself and then let your kindness flood the world. It's interesting as I look at that, because this is only the eighth time I've said it during this broadcast alone, be kinder to yourself. I love the beautiful presumption in that statement that one is already being kind to oneself and this is just extending it. So, what if the mindset that you hold on to this week as this month expires and we launch tomorrow into a new month, that you hold the mindset that it's about being kinder to yourself? Acknowledging that there is kindness in the way you treat yourself already, and this is the opportunity to extend that, to expand it. That it's the opportunity to be kinder to yourself and then let your kindness flood the world. Good God, we all need it, individually and culturally. And think of the cascade effect. As you're kinder to yourself and you let your kindness flood the world around you, what's the impact on the people you touch and the impact on the people they touch? Those of us over 50 remember the commercial from Breck, and they'll tell two friends, and they'll tell two friends. That's the kind of viral shift that we can all be part of. So your opportunity today and for this week as we launch into a new month is to be kinder to yourself and let your kindness flood the world. So instead of asking you what mindset you'll choose, I hope this is the mindset you'll choose. That I am being kinder to myself so I may let my kindness flood the world. Thanks for joining me this morning for this broadcast. I hope you'll join me at facebook.com/group/Mindset Mondays, or come to Mindset Mondays with DTK.com and check out the book, which launches tomorrow morning. Folks, thanks for the support and have a powerful week.